everybody, welcome to the 7th episode of NovELTies, the life of a teacher researcher. Good news to start this week with. I'm gonna be teaching here, which is the Escola d'Idiomes Moderns from the University of Barcelona. I'm very excited to be teaching a C1 level class, and it's gonna be a challenge for sure, so I'm really looking forward to not only teaching that group, but also sharing my experiences with you. Anyway, I got a lovely surprise for you this week. Remember that 2 weeks ago I started actually recording my lessons? Well, I started analyzing the material and I realized that I was being very demanding and I was looking for ways in which I could improve the lessons and make sure the things that I didn't like in the classroom did not happen again. But is this the correct thing to do? I asked a good friend of mine, Claire, who lives in Brazil. She's both an English language teacher and a teacher educator, on her view on recording lessons and on how we can analyze this. Now, Claire's not only an expert, she's very passionate about what she's doing. So I hope you enjoy the following bit, which is about how we, as teacher researchers, can use our video materials in order to step up the game.
Okay, so you have probably heard that recording your lesson is a great idea for development. But after you get over that initial fear of seeing yourself on camera, what do you do with the footage? Well, here's an idea. Have you heard of exploratory practice? It's a great way for teachers to investigate what's going on in their lessons, but it requires the involvement of not just the teacher, but the learners as well. So that lesson that you have recorded, or that even a part of a lesson, that can be used to identify areas of your teaching that you'd like to develop. But here's the really interesting part. Instead of seeing a problem and trying to find a solution straight away, what you need to do is formulate a why question. Let me give you an example. I'm a young learner teacher, so if I were to watch one of my recorded lessons, I might look at it and say, you need to learn new classroom management techniques. But an alternative way to approach that would be to ask a more specific question like, why is it that my young learners take so long to settle at the start of class? Can you see the difference there? So then you go back to that valuable footage that you have and you'd watch it again. And this would give you an opportunity to see what's going on in your lesson and see all of those things that you may have missed while you were teaching. So these kinds of questions are also known as pedagogical puzzles. And to solve a pedagogical puzzle, you need to do a special activity, integrate a special activity into your lesson. And these activities are called potentially exploitable pedagogical activities, or PEPAs. So that is my idea for how to use video as a tool to improve your teaching practice. If you like this activity and want to know more about exploratory practice, there is so much online. But the blog post that I've read recently by an author called Bruno Andrade, I found it on the IATEFL Young Learner and Teen SIG blog. That was a really inspirational post for me, so check out the link in the description. I hope you liked my idea, and good luck.
So thank you very much for your message, Claire. I'm sure that many other teacher researchers will take advantage of everything that you've said, especially me. I can assure you that I've been looking especially at the things that didn't go well throughout the lesson instead of looking for the reasons behind it. And I love the idea from Bruno Andrade's vlog as well, especially because it fits perfectly with the sociocultural theory and dialogic teaching, in the sense that we as teachers involve ourselves in the task with the students, which is very important as well. Now, make sure as teacher researchers that you get yourself a camera, start recording, create your why questions, and last but not least, get yourself some PEPAs in order to step up your teaching game. Anyway, before you do that, and before you check out Bruno Andrade's vlog, make sure you also check out Claire's page, which is on Instagram, Active English for Kids, and on Facebook, Active English. To me, Claire is a true inspiration, so I'm sure for the other teacher researchers who are following me as well. So check that out. Anyway, let's go to the question of the week. Should we use L1 in the classroom? I had some lovely messages from you guys. I had a message, for example, from Mirisha83, who explained that we should only use the L1 when necessary, and the focus should always be the target language. I also had a lovely message from ESL Teacher Hong Kong, who explained that we can use the L1, but most of the time in ways in which we try to promote discipline in the classroom, or maybe vocabulary translating, or scaffolding. Anyway, what I would like you, if you have the time of course, to read is an article written by Commons. Now Commons writes this article about the L1 use, and that of course, especially when we talk about young learners, it's so important that young learners get involved with the language, because they are all sponges. Whatever they hear, they absorb it, and they start actually pronouncing things in the same way. However, once we make it to secondary school education, or when we get to adults, it's very important for us as teachers to try to help and situate the students in the learning situation. So by creating more L1 use in the classroom itself becomes a learning environment that is a lot richer, and students will try to dare to look for ways in which they can express themselves, because only thorough understandings of the language can help us to not only situate ourselves, but also to express ourselves in the way that we want to, as those social agents in control of the language, who are looking for ways in which they can express themselves as they wish in the English language. Remember that this weekend I'll be going to Granada in order to present my presentation called "There is no way to language, language is the way" on the Greta conference. So if you are in Granada, please let me know and we can definitely hang out. But the question of the week is therefore up to you. Create a question, leave a comment, send me a private message, and maybe your question will be used at the Greta conference, because I will ask different experts on their opinion on your question. So please leave a comment or send me a message either on NovELTies vlog on Facebook, on the Teacher Researcher, the YouTube page, or Instagram at the Teacher Researcher. Have a great week, everybody, and remember that a great teacher never stops learning. Take care.